This week's Grandmaster is Glassway, which has consistently been one of the hardest Nightfalls in the game. Though it's nowhere near its original difficulty, the boss room can still be extremely challenging due to the volume of champions and frequent wyvern teleports. Today, I'll be covering positioning tips, spawn manipulation tactics, and loadouts that will make this Grandmaster a breeze. I'm Above, and if you enjoyed today's video, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. Now, let's get into it. Diving right into my recommended team comp, we leaned heavily into Void 3.0 as it absolutely destroys this Nightfall. We used one Invis Hunter with Aeon Swifts, one Bubble Titan with Heart of Inmost Light, and one Nova Bomb Warlock rocking Controverse holds. The Void Singe turns your weakened grenades into miniature nukes, and pairing this with Lord Kelvin's Basilisk means that we have no problem stunning Overload champions. Devour is also great for survivability, and since you're rarely sitting in one place for very long, well, isn't really necessary here. It's still good, but these options are superior in my opinion. The Invis Hunter can be used for clutch revives, while the Aeons keep your team topped off on heavy ammo. As always, pairing this with Lucent Finisher means we'll get absurd amounts of heavy, which is absolutely necessary considering there are 17 champions in the boss room alone, and the final boss is extremely tanky. Controverse and Heart of Inmost Light are immensely powerful for ad clear, especially with the Void Singe. There are three very important things to consider with our weapon choices here. We need to cover both overloads and anti-barriers, bring blinding utility for safety in the boss room, and have high enough total damage to deal with Belmont's girthy health bar, while also dealing with what seems like an endless supply of champions in the boss room. We found that 2 Arbalists and 1 Divinity was the ideal weapon combo for this GM, and though your Void Grenades can help stun overloads, having a consistent way to stun them at range is incredibly helpful, and the faster we can nuke champions, the safer you'll be in the boss room. Divinity also serves as a fantastic tool against wyverns because their lack of a crit spot can make them difficult to deal with, but this allows you to nuke them quickly. Arbalist allows you to shoot through the boss's shield for easy damage, which is nice because both Belmont and the Mini Hydra have a rotating shield that can be extremely annoying to deal with. If you don't have Arbalist or Divinity, Wishender and Le Monarch are both fantastic options for this Nightfall. Our Div user actually ran double special and utilized a blinding grenade in their kinetic slot. The mini-boss and wyverns are both blindable, which makes the boss room so much easier. Our 2 Arbalist users ran Arc Overload SMGs, and all 3 of us ran Void Linear Fusion Rifles. Taipan benefits from the Void Singe, has great damage perks, and fantastic ammo economy as well. As for key armor mods, I recommend Void Resist and Concussive Dampener to counter the Void Singe, Sect of Insight on your Aeon Gauntlets to produce heavy ammo when finishing champions, and Lucent Finisher to double down on heavy ammo for your teammates. For those who have watched my previous guides, you'll know just how helpful heavy ammo spam can be in these more difficult Nightfalls. I also recommend Special Finisher to keep your Div and Blinding Grenade user topped off on ammo. Countercharge and High Energy Fire are amazing for melting champions, and Lord Kelvin's Basilisk will allow your Void Grenades to stun overloads as I mentioned earlier. As we dive into the Nightfall, there's a chance of grabbing a public event rally flag. This can help speed up the opening encounter, but definitely isn't necessary. As you approach the first set of ads, use your nades to clear the enemies and stun the overload champion, and then use Div and Linears to nuke it. You want to try and clear from here, as pushing up beyond this rock will cause sniper shanks to spawn, which can make this part more annoying than it needs to be. So clear from back here, then push up and take out the sniper shanks afterwards. As you enter the first room, wait for the overload to peek out from the cover on the back left-hand side of the arena. Nuke it with your linears, then clear the wretches that are pushing towards you. As you jump down, the next wave of ads will spawn in alongside a barrier champion. Take your time clearing the room and get a finisher on the barrier to restock on ammo. The next encounter contains a mini-boss by the name of the Warrior's Enforcer. You want to play cover behind this rock and use the overshield from your Titan to peek out and clear the snipers. There will be 2 Vandals on the back right and 1 in the center of the arena, and once these are dead, you can focus on the Overload champion who should spawn on the right-hand cliffside. As you can see, the combination of Div and Void linears makes quick work of champions in this Nightfall, and once these enemies are dead, you can then focus on the mini-boss. Do not push up past the middle pillar until everything is dead. This will trigger the spawn of a barrier champion that can shield the mini-boss and make your lives so much harder than they need to be. So kill the Warrior's Enforcer from a distance, then push up, clear ads, and get a finisher on the barrier once again to restock on ammo. The next room also contains a mini-boss, this time by the name of the Technocrat's Assistant, and there are a couple things you'll want to keep in mind here. First off, split aggro by having one person take cover behind the rock on the left-hand side while your teammates use this larger rock on the right-hand side. Similar to the last encounter, you do not want to push up past this pillar as it will trigger the ad spawn of a barrier champion just like in the last room. This will shield the mini-boss, which once again will make this part incredibly annoying. So focus on the snipers first, followed by the overload champion, and then the Technocrat's Assistant. And once the mini-boss is dead, you're free to push up and spawn the barrier, clear ads, then get a finisher on this champion to replenish on ammo. As you can see, the first three rooms are structured in a very similar way, so simply follow the methods we laid out and you should have no problems here. The next area is simply a transition zone, and the only thing to note is the fact that sniper vandals will spawn when you push past this pillar in the middle of the arena. Use your nades to spawn kill them, then head left and approach the first overload. This side gives you much better cover from the sniper vandals on the next platform, which makes this easy pickings. Take out the first overload, then jump to the next platform and keep an eye out for the vandals looming at the back left-hand side of the arena. Then get a finisher on the second overload champion to restock on ammo. Next up, we have the Vex Drain encounter, and this area is only difficult if you try to brute force plate progression. Ad spawns are tied to the percentage you've completed, so the longer you stay on the plate, the more ad spawns will overlap, which can overwhelm your fire team and send you back to orbit. So to avoid overlapping ad spawns, just pay attention to the ads that trickle over the wall. Key ad spawn intervals to note are 35%, which is when the left snipers will spawn, and 50%, which is when the right snipers will spawn. There are smaller ad waves scattered in between these, but shouldn't be much of a problem. Each time you see enemies spawn in, simply back up and clear from behind this cover, then step back on and continue progressing until you reach 100%. And once complete, an overload champion will spawn in directly below you. Take it out, clear the area, then push up until you see ads begin to trickle over the sides of the dam, at which point you can back up and clear from the platform you were just capturing. As you can see, the ads don't aggro from here, which makes them easy pickings. As you push up again, be wary of the snipers looming at the top of the dam, and if you don't see them, it means they've likely jumped down to the platform in front of the entrance to the boss room. Once clear, get a finisher on the barrier champion to stock up on ammo, then get a second finisher on the overload in the boss room before starting the boss fight. As I mentioned at the start of the video, Belmont has a ton of health, so having extra heavy bricks lying around is never a bad idea. The left room is optimal for cover as it has much better sightlines than the right room and offers protection from the boss. When the overload dies, the encounter will begin. The first wave will spawn in Bellman and its mini-boss companion alongside two overload champions. You want to immediately sprint to the left door and set up to spawn kill the first overload. The boss will push towards you, so you'll have to be quick doing this, but don't be shy with heavy ammo here as you should be able to kill them no problem. Now head back inside and use blinding grenades to neutralize the mini-boss. This is crucial to your success in this Grandmaster. The biggest mistake you can make is instantly health gating the mini-boss when it pushes into your bunker, because when you do this, it will instantly spawn a second set of overloads. And if you still have overloads from the first wave alive when you do this, you can have up to 4 of them up at the same time. So to avoid this chaos, keep the mini-boss blinded while killing the first 2 overload champions. And once they're dead, you can health gate the mini-boss, which will send it away and spawn the second set of overloads. But now, you don't have to worry about the mini-boss shooting you in the back while you take the next set of overloads out. Once all 4 of them are dead, it's time to damage the big boss. Split aggro and take turns damaging it until it reaches its 2/3 health gate, at which point wyverns, barrier champions, and the mini Hydra will return. Similar to the start of the boss fight, head to the left doorway and nuke the first wyvern as it comes out of the portal. This is immensely helpful, especially considering how much these enemies teleport and can ruin your runs. So spawn kill the first wyvern, then head back inside and blind the mini-boss. I recommend splitting up to avoid your entire team getting nuked by a teleporting wyvern, and once you've located it, you can blind and kill it. Once dead, health gate the mini-boss to spawn the next set of wyverns, just like we did with the Overload champions. Stay spread out once again, and use blinding nades to neutralize them as they push inside. And once all 4 of them have been killed, head to the right door and use cover to take out the 4 barrier champions and get finishers to restock on ammo. The main boss isn't present during this phase, which means your Invis Hunter can safely go out and get finishers. When the last barrier dies, Bellman will return, and this time, he'll be accompanied by 2 Overload champions yet again, which means we want to head to the left door, as you guessed, and spawn kill the first Overload like we did during the first 2 phases. Head back inside, kill the second Overload, then get the boss to 50% HP. This will trigger the spawn of the next 2 Overload champions, which we can kill and then continue doing damage to the boss until it reaches its 1/3 health gate. As you can see, this fight has a very distinct pattern that you can follow. The final wave consists of wyverns, barrier champions, and both bosses up at the same time. Use blinding grenades to neutralize the wyverns, then kill the mini-boss. This will spawn the final 2 wyverns, and once dead, you can focus the 4 barrier champions. Have one person aggro the boss while your teammates work on the barriers, then finish off the boss to make the Glassway Grandmaster Nightfall a GG. If you found this guide useful, a like and subscription would be greatly appreciated. You can also catch me live over on Twitch at twitch.tv/above, where I game with my community 5 days a week and will be doing GM helps all season long. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.